So for the ASEAN 6 region overall, we are looking at a rebound of around 5.3% for 2021 from the 3.8% decline in 2020. The recovery pace for these ASEAN countries would really be contingent on the deployment of a vaccine, how fast and how efficient the vaccination campaign could work for these countries. But ASEAN does face some challenges on this front. First of all, in order to reach herd immunity, it's recommended that at least 65% of the population gets vaccinated. But based on our estimates, when we look at the purchases of vaccines that have been secured by the ASEAN countries, it ranges from around 20% to 45%, which is insufficient to reach herd immunity. So whereas advanced economies like the US and Europe, we could see them reaching herd immunity by the third quarter of next year, it may take longer for ASEAN. Our timeline is fourth quarter of 2021 for countries like Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia, whereas other countries like Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam may take longer, possibly in the first half of 2022. So that could still weigh on the recovery pace in 2021. And besides that, I also want to highlight that it also depends on the willingness of people to be vaccinated, as well as the affordability, and whether or not people are willing to pay for the vaccine. While Singapore has mentioned that they would provide free vaccination for all who want to be vaccinated, countries like Indonesia, the government originally only targeted 32 million free vaccination out of its 107 million target. There has been some public pushback, so President Jokowi earlier this week announced that vaccination would be free for all. So, but this likely will be a challenge to reach herd immunity in these countries.
Right. Another important angle for ASEAN is the rollout of stimulus, the stimulus announcement in the US, and the delay on that front. How significant would that be for especially the export-oriented economies in this part of the world?
Yeah, that's definitely one downside risk if there's a significant tapering or delay on US fiscal support that could affect external-oriented economies like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, as well as Vietnam. Whereas for Indonesia and Philippines, which are more domestic-oriented economies and private consumption is a larger share of the GDP, their recovery would be more contingent on the vaccination process in their own countries rather than external developments. Once they reach herd immunity, they would be able to ease their domestic lockdowns as well as spur the domestic tourism. So it is highly contingent on how fast US passes those stimulus measures as well.